By the way, everyone's against this case. I haven't seen one legal scholar or expert in the law say that this case should have been filed. It should not have been filed, or at a minimum, it should have been filed 7 years ago. It's 7 years old. Everybody turned it down, including federal elections turned it down. Southern District turned it down. Bragg turned it down. Then he rejuvenated it when I was running for office. It's a terrible thing.
For the latest on today's deliberations and possible outcome, let's welcome in Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General, former Special Advisor to President Trump. Jesse Banal is a constitutional attorney as well as an attorney for the former president. Welcome to you both. Just getting some word from the courtroom, per our reporter here. The judge is talking about witness testimony and credibility here, specifically when it comes to Michael Cohen. So perhaps jurors wanted a little bit more clarity on that, saying under our law, Michael Cohen is an accomplice. Even if you find the testimony of Michael Cohen to be believable, you can't convict the defendant solely on the testimony unless it corroborates with other evidence. Pam Bondi, to you, what does this reminder tell you about the jurors' concerns or questions?
Well, it's hard to tell because they've asked for pages 7 through 35, basically, to be read back. So, of course, that helps the defense about Michael Cohen's credibility, helps greatly, President Trump, because we know Michael Cohen has no credibility. He lied to the jurors. He's a convicted perjurer, and he admitted stealing from the Trump organization. But, I've heard reports that in the courtroom, some of the females were shaking their heads, yes, in agreement with some of the things the judge was reading. So clearly there's a disagreement about the way they remember things among the jurors. When I had jury trials, you could look at the jurors and kind of see who wasn't getting along and who wasn't in agreement. But it's going to depend what part of the jury instructions were being read back. But, at least these jurors are paying attention. They're asking for more to be read back. I think it's absurd that these complicated jury instructions weren't sent back with them. However, the jury instructions aren't constitutional anyway, in my opinion, and if convicted, it will be reversed. It's hard to read jurors at this point unless you're sitting in there looking at them and seeing who's in disagreement and what parts they're nodding with and what parts they're in disagreement with what the judge is reading back.
Absolutely. Jesse Banal on this one, too. Let's talk about the witness testimony. Per the judge from our reporter in the courtroom saying this, there are factors to consider if the witness testimony is truthful or not. And some of the factors, I won't read all of them, but you can kind of pick out which one maybe you would think of when I do. One of them is this: is there a motive to lie? And then number two, are they convicted of a crime, amongst other factors to consider the credibility of a witness, per the judge? Who might that apply to?
Well, I think it's possible that might apply to Michael Cohen, of course. Being convicted of a crime is something that, of course, can and should be considered. But here you have someone who is actually convicted of perjury. I don't know how anyone can give him any credibility on the witness stand at all, because he's already pled guilty to lying. He already said on the witness stand that he would still lie for loyalty, for instance. Now the loyalty, of course, is his own business interest. So the fact that he has all this financial interest in trying to take down Donald Trump is another reason why the jury just simply cannot believe that anything that he says. So there's tons of reasons for the jury not to give any credence at all to Michael Cohen's credibility. And also, one of the things that we're also saying is, I think Pam said, is there's absolutely no reason these jury instructions shouldn't be back in the jury room. The only reason that I can see for them keeping the jury instructions from the jury full time is that the judge effectively doesn't want them to be able to debate some of the instructions and talk about the instructions and how it applies to the law. He doesn't want them to get lost in those weeds.
Yeah.
He just wants them to convict Donald Trump. Let's be very clear about that.